Hello guys, welcome to the NEET PG 2021 pattern questions. So here is an interesting case for you people that I gave you in the recent quiz also. The child in the image was brought by her observant mother for the evaluation of the crossed eyes. So they say that this is a case of a squint which the mother has noticed for the past month. Which of the following is least likely? Now, the first important thing is that you have to read the language of the question. What is least likely they are asking? Second, the hint is the squint, and third is the image which they have given. Now, let us look at the image here. Can you notice something? Do you see some squint or you see something else? So, if you look at this image, you have something what is called as the telecanthus. What is called as the telecanthus? Now, what is actually telecanthus? Telecanthus means increased intercanthal distance. So, if this intercanthal distance is more, so you have increased intercanthal distance with normal IPD. Normal IPD means the interpupillary distance. The interpupillary distance is normal, but this intercanthal distance is more because you have got this flat nasal bridge. So this area is more. Now due to this, what happens? The nasal side sclera is actually hidden. So what happens? It looks as if I show you the image again, okay. So due to this, what is happening? The nasal side sclera is hidden and it looks as if the eyes are actually deviated inwards. So it gives you appearance of the convergent squint. So rightly called as the apparent. That is why it is actually called as the apparent convergent squint. So why it is apparent? It is a pseudo esotropia or the apparent convergent squint. You are having the telecanthus, you are having the increased intercanthal distance. Along with this, they are also showing you the epicanthus. Can you see these vertical semilunar folds are also there? So they are also adding up in causing this pseudo esotropia. So on this behalf, I can actually evaluate this question that mother is right. It looks as if the baby is having crossed eyes and she has noticed just the past month. Now with respect to this, we will see the options. So let's start with the option number D. With time this condition will spontaneously improve. Very correct. This is a true statement. With time, what is happening? There is a growth of the nasal bridge and the flattening appears less. So what will happen? This will slowly and gradually will improve, right? Now, if you look at the option number C, this child is unlikely to demonstrate the inferior oblique overaction or the DVDs, and these findings generally develop after the initial presentation of esotropia. Now, again a very true statement because they are saying it is unlikely when it comes to true esotropia. When it comes to true convergent squint, it is usually associated with the inferior oblique overaction, and when we have got inferior oblique overaction, we have got the elevation in the adduction. So if you remember in one of the questions I discussed where it was showing that when the person was looking in the adducted eyes, okay, there was a elevation in the adducted eyes, then that was increasing in the upward gaze. So that is actually the point. When we have got the true convergent squint, we have got inferior oblique overactions, and that can show the incompetence in the vertical gaze while they are competent in the horizontal gaze. This is called as a dissociated vertical deviation, and they actually develop in the esotropia. So this is unlikely because this is a pseudo squint. So this is also true, this is also true. Now coming to the option number B, both the cover uncover test and the alternate cover test, even with the excellent fixation on an accommodative target, will not demonstrate any deviation. Exactly. Why? Because we are not having the true squint. We are just having an apparent convergent squint. Only it looks as if the person is having squint. Actually, the person is not having any squint. So if I do the cover and cover test, or if I do the alternate cover test, I'm not going to get anything. Now, again, the same thing which I told you in the previous question also, that you are very easily reaching to the answers in these type of questions by the diagnosis of exclusion. As in this question also, you can easily see that B, C, D are exactly true. So they are asking you least likely, so by default also your answer will be option number A. But yes, before marking you should go through it. So they say that the cover uncover test will demonstrate atropia, which is actually false, because it is not a true squint, it is just a false squint. So the cover uncover test will not give me atropia when the fixating eye is covered and the other eye will display an abduction movement. Now when the fixating eye is covered, okay, what is happening? See, if there is a true squint, what is happening? If this eye is having the lateral rectus palsy and the eyes are actually deviated inside, okay, so what is, they say that the fixing eye is covered, so normal eye is covered. So when the normal eye is covered, this eye will be showing the abduction movement. That will be occurring in cases of the true squint, not in cases of the pseudo squint. You do not have any palsy here. There is no preference of the eye, only it looks. So obviously you will not get any finding on the cover and uncover test. That will very well going. So this is actually a false statement or a least likely statement. So this was how you are going to do the question. See, every time you get a crossed eye or every time you get a hypertropia, don't just take it, okay? This is only one of the options. Squint means it could be a pseudo squint also, it could be a latent squint also, it could be a manifest squint, it could be a convergent, it could be a divergent. So take all the options, okay? Similarly, when they say that there's a hypertropia, also consider that there could be a hypertropia in the other eye. This is actually the evaluation they want to do. They want to see that if a patient comes to you, are you able to think on that lines? So you have to actually, the thing is that how to solve these questions, you have to think it as a patient and not as a MCQ. If this question comes in front of you and you consider it as a patient sitting in front of you with so many complaints, now what are you going to think? I think that will be the best way of solving that question. Thank you.